Good day, my young believers. Today, I just want to bring forth another word just to encourage you and to just let you know on this journey, you'll come upon things and knowing, having the knowledge and understanding in place will help. Today, I'm going to just take the time to talk about this verse taken from Matthew chapter 7, 1 and 2. And it simply say, judge not, that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use it, it will be measured to you. The word of God is to guide your spirit in protecting your soul. Some things may come across a little bit harsh, but remember, whenever communication is taking place, there is a context for which it is being done. So understand context, understand the avenue or the angle or the intention for which the communication and dialogue is taking place. Today, I just want to tell you that judgment is for the devil, the accuser of our soul. Remember, he is the one that's judged. He's judged already. So he's operating from a place where he knows what his end is. But you who don't know what your end is, you have to be careful. Be careful. Because he just may be using you. Always remember, there are levels, spiritually speaking. So, yes, I'm taking this one verse and there are different in terms of context. When you're talking about judgment, there are different things to consider. But for this case, I think this will give us our understanding. We judge everything in our life at one point or another. Some of us every day probably we judge. We use judgment in ways that we don't even know sometimes. It's in second nature. We just judge. It could be the food that you're buying. It could be the way how somebody handling a sandwich, how something is cooked, how something is smelled. When you're driving, we use judgment. But the type of judgment I'm talking about is the one that we know when it pertains to living Christian lifestyle, right? And keep this in mind. People like to think that Christians are judgmental. People like to think that Christians are judgmental. But a true Christian knows that we operate out of love and without condemnation. A true Christian knows we operate out of love and without condemnation. So if you're speaking to someone and you're doing it from like that place of no love and condemnation, then remember that same thing could be done to you. Like the verse says, judge not, that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use it, it will be measured to you. So when you do something, it's coming back at the same measure. Alright? The next time you feel judged, ask yourself, why do you feel the way you do? Like I would ask myself, why do I feel the way how I am feeling right now? There is a psychology that is not of God. Also, there is a wisdom that is not of God. So, people from on the negative side of things, they sometimes use a psychology and there's a wisdom in trying to get you to fall as well. So, people will be like, the angle they will take, you will know their intention. You will know that they don't mean well. You will know that this ain't of God. So if for you to paint it and say, well, okay, this is coming from a person who's going to church, do you know you could be going to church and not be a Christian? You could be doing everything, living good on this earth and not be a Christian, not be sold out to Christ. So they have people who like to say, people like to associate you by the crowd, by the company. So you might be going to a church and they might say, yeah, he's a Christian. Is it really a Christian? Or is it a person who just attending a church? we have to define when you say a person is a Christian and you see them doing certain things, because there is a lifestyle, there is a way that you can tell when a person is really a Christian. But let me tell you, there is a psychology that if you're not careful, that the enemy will use you as an agent, right? So that's why we have to be sober-minded. A sober mind positions you to see what's in your heart. A sober mind keeps you conscious. A sober mind keeps you operating with intentionality and with purpose. And whenever you do anything, you understand and you know what you're doing. So that's why a sober mind is very helpful, because you're aware of what you're doing. And when you do it, you're doing it out of an understanding that I know I'm doing this. Because when a person is not sober, they could say, oh, this happened by accident, or I wasn't sure that I was doing this, I didn't mean to do it. But when you're sober, everything you do is considered. Also, to keep in mind, I come to the realization, right, that when a man is driven by what he cannot control, it will overtake him. When a man is driven by what he cannot control, it will overtake him. So I hope what controls you is of the Lord and not of the devil, right? Let's all take the time to examine ourselves. Just take the time to examine yourself and ask, why do I do what I do to myself and others? What do I do it? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I treat people the way that I treat them? You know? Why do I do it? And this will clear up some things that you may not be able to see. The enemy, remember, the enemy will sift you as wheat. But who is the devil using to do that? Remember, anything that happens here on earth, whether through God or through the devil, is coming through a man, it's coming through a person. So who would be the hands and feet that agent of the devil is working through? Because he will use anyone who would allow, in a negative light or in the negative sense, anger to drive them, lust to drive them, arrogance to drive them, hate to drive them, greed to drive them, unforgiveness to drive them, bitterness to drive them, covetousness to drive them. I mean, anything the devil could use, he will use it. Lie to drive. Remember, anything that you can't control, he will use it against you. So I'm not saying that we're perfect, but if you're at a place where your anger is uncontrollable, the desire that you carry for things that is not of Christ is uncontrollable. It just may be that you did it so long that it get to that place where by habit you can't control it. But there are times where we are driven by an internal desire that's so strong that is driving us. Now you know you have a problem. You have a problem when you get to that level of not being able to control your anger, your greed, your drive, anything about yourself. So again, we started speaking about judgment, and who is the judgment for? The devil. So the devil may be using people to come and accuse you, because that's what he does the best. He accuses you. But it's your responsibility as Christian to gain knowledge, to read his word, and to understand the plans and the wiles of the enemy, to use discernment to know when something is of Christ and when something is of not. And especially when you're able to see that, what if I give energy to this, if I give attention to this, it will result in no good. Matter of fact, you might be fasting, you might be praying, you might just come from speaking about Christ or about to do an assignment that involves him. And the enemy knows our weakness, or at least he sifts us to identify our weakness, because the minute we start to give him that attention, that's what he does. He preys on it and he uses it. And before you know it, you're like, man, I know this was going to happen, and sure enough, you don't want to be in that position. So I bless you this day to just take the time to examine yourself daily and to just give God your best and leave the rest